One of the seat, under one of the seat.
Oh, under the seats is
How
where
are
my
you?
life vests are.
Oh,
Are you our potential new
Also on my
resident?
canvas.
Pending?
oh, yeah.
Pending.
Perfect. Well, I don't know if we'll give you many answers today, but we're
That's
glad
okay.
to have you.
I'm here for answers if needed.
And what is your
Perfect.
name?
Megan, Megan 90.
Perfect. Well, we're glad to have you. Okay, well, we would love to start this meeting. We're going to start the work session today. And we are going to start with the discussion of proposed repairs to the exterior of the city center. Just kind of recap, last council meeting, I was authorized to spend what was in the budget for this particular project, but we did want to grab a few others bids on that. So I appreciate, John, your help with that. And so I kind of want to go over those for your guys' information. Did I say, it's Steve Johns. He has two first names, it's his fault.
You can call me whatever you want.
Steve. Okay,
Every time that happens, Steve and I look at each other like, uh-huh.
I appreciate, the patience is helpful. Everybody
Oh,
involved.
I was thinking John.
Yeah.
Okay, so the original bid that we received was from an organization called Home Innovations. And that bid comes to a total of $32,047.38. The scope of this work basically is the side of the building completely behind me, completely ripping it off because we have leaking windows. And this is the primary issue that propagated the need for this type of work. As we went around the building, there's a few other broken panels, there's trim pieces that are falling off. Now, as I have gone through, because I've walked the property with all three of these companies now, and all three of them have one thing in common, and that is they all say that how the siding was put on this building, incorrect is the wrong word, because it's not necessarily incorrect, but it was kind of a budget option that we're now suffering from. So for instance, typically when
Built by
you,
volunteers. So,
the siding was not actually
really?
correct. We had already farmed it out to a general at that point
I
to
thought
finish
they
it
did
out.
that too.
And so typically when you do a hardy siding, you trim out all the windows first.
Right.
This actually did all of the siding, so the hardy slat first, and then they took like 3/8 inch trim and kind of tried to shoot it on around and through the siding. The problem is that creates gaps, and they didn't caulk in those gaps, and so they're full of hornets and water, and that's one of the reasons we're having such issues. So you'll see that, and the reason I give you that context is you're gonna see that in the differences of these bids. I tried to get as close to apples, but that was impossible. So the Home Innovations bid is for this side being completely ripped off, thrown away, completely repaired, covered in OSB, because the foundation wall, if you can see right behind me, this is concrete all the way to the ceiling. So it's designed for the highest R value you can get. It's actually the same way Steve's house was built, I believe, right, Steve? However, that means the other side of this wall is also concrete. So they've nailed on these small slats to then be able to nail the siding on too. So this bid includes actually putting 7/16 OSB and sheeting the whole thing, furring out the indent, because this the gable on this indents in, so it creates a ledge, which is storing water, helping facilitate the leak. So that's completely shearing this straight up, no more ledge, all of that will be then fixed. This also rips the dormers off and repairs the dormers, because they also have a lot of water damage, getting new flashing underneath those. Because the code actually helps require that you have a 3-inch gap above the roof line of flashing, and then it jumps underneath the
Mhm.
the siding to help with the waterproofing, and this does not have that gap. It
Well,
was right.
they changed the code.
Probably.
I know they did because I got the insurance to deny a roof repair because of it.
Oh, joy. Sorry about that. And so that's kind of what this is. This also then fixes kind of more bandage on top of the bandage of the broken pieces of trim through windows and things like that. Okay, so that's the home innovations bit.
I have a question on,
Yes.
before we get to all of them then. Do they have similar time frame on completion?
That I actually don't know. I have not spoken to them because that's of less importance to me than your guys' decision for cost. They all can get it done this before the snow flies,
Oh, this just is.
which is
Yeah,
my
that's
primary-
what I was wondering.
Yep.
Okay.
So Cascade. I was extremely impressed with Cascade. It helps that the owner's name is Ben. But very kind. This was a very thorough, and as he went around the building, and you'll see, because Cascade's bid is for 76,000. So their half payment is
Our budget.
more than Home Innovation's full bid. They're saying you really just need to do this project right. And this is all exterior ripped off the building. Both ends of the building having the same fix because that dormer also sucks in, just like this one does. And they're going to put in on the very bottom that rigid foam in between each of those slats. Now, they're not going to sheet it with OSB, but they're going to put rigid foam behind those slats so that it has more in protection. Because that's one of the problems. If you've gone down this side of this bay, a lot of those tiles have been just broken out, the hardy board. It's because there's no backing on it. And so it doesn't take any impact at all. It just shatters. So that's what this one does. Hence, it is quite a bit more. As you probably looked through the bids, this was a pretty bid package. They took extensive pictures, understanding, articulating every single side of the wall, labeling them. Very impressed, just also an impressive price tag. And the last bid comes from a company called Latmer Plastering, LLC. Also really enjoyed these guys. Their bid actually is far more comparable to the Home Innovations bid than it is to Cascade. And this one is for $55,000. This is repainting, though, also the whole front of the building. Painting.
Oh.
Because we do have that, we had an old sign that used to be on the front, so we now have that big, huge mark on the front. And because there's a number of panels they want to replace around those front windows, they said, there's no way we can match this paint. We'll just need to repaint that whole facade.
So all three of them have kind of a different scope then?
Correct.
They've added in some things that maybe we didn't see.
100%, right? And basically I told them when they were here, I told them what this bid was, the scope of it, and they said, well, we'll give you what we feel is actually makes sense to do. And so you have Cascade saying you need to do the whole building, which I don't disagree with. You have Latmer kind of in the middle, but the amount of work we're going to get is actually going to be much closer to the Home Innovations bid. So
They just added on the front.
they added on the front.
I mean, I
Yeah.
read through them all.
That's
but-
pretty much it. So, and then everything else that we talked about, replacing the dormers and replacing this wall.
Okay, so the reason I kind of pushed for this is because a lot of these contractors, sorry Steve, sorry Ben, a lot of contractors, and you guys are building mostly new, right? You guys aren't like this. Have a tendency to make their money on change orders.
Yeah.
So they come in low on the bid, they get the job, and then, oh, we need to paint the whole building because of this, and all of a sudden your paint price is tripled from what you would have gotten from a bid. So I wanted to see what other people were saying needed to be done so that we could actually come back and if necessary, which I was afraid it was going to be, say, okay, if we think we need to do the whole thing, we need to do both ends and then paint everything and whatever we've got to do, right? And I don't disagree, the whole thing needs to be done, but I don't know that we can afford to do it right now.
That's my feeling also.
We say, okay, all we're gonna do is this end, say Cascade, what are you gonna do for us, you know? And if we pick a Sherwin-Williams paint or a, you know, I don't know what they painted this with, but if we make note of that, we can match that paint in the future. So we could do, and it's not bad when you do a full side, because as you come to a corner, whether there's trim or not, you can't tell that there's a slight difference in those.
If it fades from the sun.
Yeah, it's
As
just.
long as it's
just
not a
that-
totally different color.
Well, and even that, you could actually do a whole different color, and it's kind of modern looking when you do that. But this was my fear, that people were gonna come in and see different, well, not my fear, my expectation was that other people were gonna see different things, and between a few bids, we're gonna say, okay, now we need to do what this guy said here, and what this guy said here, and what this guy said here. Everybody redo your bids to this scope of work. Now we've got a detailed scope of work. We can say, I want to see your bid for this particular scope of work. This is what we think we can afford this year. And have them redo the bids, and I hate saying that, but redo the bids. They come together. You don't need to talk to us after that, unless it's over what we've budgeted for. And then you can make, you and Ted and Jody and Wayne can make the decision, okay, this is the one we're gonna go for. We feel best about this. It might not be the cheapest one, but it's the one we feel the most comfortable with. But now you've got a detailed scope of work with the 3 different bids to pull from to say, here is now our I call it a SAL, a scope of work. Rebid, you know, readjust your bid for these particular things. I like the fact of backing the hardy one way or the other, whether it's OSB or whether it's hard foam, high density foam. Because that's what, I mean, I'm looking at the pictures and you can see the busted in hardy board, right? So, you know, once you can do this, I don't know that you need to come back to us if it's within budget. My thoughts on it.
Is there a possibility, because, I mean, cost is obviously the concern, of a phase 1, phase 2 on 2 different budget years?
I think that would
Yeah,
be
I
the
think-
right
I
choice.
think we have to.
We will need to get this building so it can sustain.
I would like to see the door downstairs, if it hasn't been repaired, to be repaired. Also into the office, the plow office.
I like it broken, fused shut. 'Cause then you
I don't,
can't
from an
fix it.
egress standpoint, it's a danger, so just from an OSHA thing, I'd like to see that fixed.
I can get behind that. Yeah, we've got actually 2 doors down there that need to be fixed.
Yeah.
I think it
over
would
here.
be helpful if we did have the same scope of work for all 3, because you can say, oh yeah, that makes sense that we do this, or it makes sense that we do both sides, or whatever, but if being fair to all 3 of them, then, because the scope of work that was told to the first is not what comes out at the others, so maybe clarifying that a little bit
Yeah.
with all
Well,
3.
and Steve, I assume you've done work with Cascade and you've done work with, yeah. And do they do change orders on you?
No.
Unless
I'm changing the scope considerably.
Yeah, so it's
And
better
so
to have
I've done a
scope
lot
up
with
front.
Home Innovations, hence I reached out to them first. And I've never gotten a change order from them.
They never recommend more than what they,
Nope. If
Fine.
they, because they'll do the scope of work on their page
well, yeah,
and they don't come back and try and upcharge.
So I have a
So-
question. If you're gonna try and do the whole building eventually, then you wouldn't wanna spend the money to paint the one side. So
Correct.
I think that has to be part of the decision too, because if you're gonna take the bid where they wanna paint, that would just be a waste of money. So I think we should save the money and not do that if we're gonna do the whole building eventually.
at least for sure the 2 ends, right? And then paint, maybe the front just needs to be
But
painted.
right now, I would say our highest priority is this wall and the dormers. because they are extremely compromised. So I don't know if you've ever gone and looked at them. The paint's all coming off in there. You can kind of go up there and hit them and they start falling apart. So they're completely blown out. So, okay, that is helpful guidance.
Ted, have you looked through these? Are you of the same opinion at all? Have you thought about this repair?
I haven't seen it.
Okay. What does everybody else think if we go back and have them scope? If they put a scope together, does he need to come back with us? We've already given him the authorization. I think we let him go forward. I don't want to waste time because we're wasting time going back and getting another bid. That's my opinion, but if you guys want to pull the reins, you can. This is my thought. I think we give the reins to the city staff and you guys go with it.
Totally
No,
agree.
I've got now their contact information as well, so I'll shoot them these other two bids, a scope of work, because I feel this other one's dialed in nicely.
The
The
middle
home
one,
innovations one is
Okay.
dialed in.
he's got the dormers on it and he's OSB.
Correct, yep.
Okay, I think either way works. OSB's, what, 5/8 OSB,
7/16.
7/16.
Well, I also think
That
that,
still should be good enough with the
Half
hardy
inch.
board, yeah, it still should be good enough.
that if we're gonna do it in 2 years, our scope of work should be the whole project and then divide it in so that we have a budget for the first, the budget for the
You
second.
won't be able to do that because all the prices change.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's
can
true.
only do
But,
what you're gonna
but at
do.
least to let them, to see if they would consider, because it would be really, I think, hard if we had one person start it and then they don't want to do the second half next year.
We've got a spec.
The nice thing is all three of these companies have been around a long time.
Okay,
So they're not Joe and his paint bucket on the side of the street that we picked up at Home Depot or something. So,
Yeah, I think the exercise was more than anything to make sure that we were getting a couple different bids, even though it's not a formal bid thing. We need to do the work, but making sure that scopes were consistent.
yeah, that's what I'm
So,
thinking.
Yeah, I think
Consistent
I
scope.
like your approach to it, so.
I just want to offer one, apology. One of the contractors was coming out and looking and they tapped on one of our corners that was pulling apart and wasp came out and stung him in the head. So I feel a little bad about that, so.
There are things that could very well be when they start doing demo, that they're gonna find. And
I expect
especially on the dormers, that's where our change orders, that's when you get the change orders, when they find something that they didn't see on the original scope, that's why I like lots of eyes.
Perfect. Okay, any other questions there? Wonderful. Okay, let's move to number 2. Discussion regarding the sale of approximately 0.25 acres of city-owned real property located near Bear Hollow between the Utah County parcel, and then there's 2 big long numbers. If you're interested, you can read them, including declaring the property surplus and authorizing the sale process. Ted, do you want to tackle this?
Yeah, do.
Okay.
Question.
I'll get some assistance from Jody.
No, all 3 of you have been involved in this, so.
Yeah. So where this started out, just to give you a quick recap, where this started out is we had so this was originally part of a plat where South Loafer came through the development and then continued and connected to Bear Hollow.
Right.
The developer revised, and that was recorded plat, so that was a road right of way. The developer revised the plat so that South Loafer now is a cul-de-sac. So this left a remaining road piece between the end of the cul-de-sac and Bear Hollow. This platted as city right of way, so it becomes our property, is our property as part of the plat. It's property that does not meet any requirements to be a lot. It's basically a road right of way.
Yeah, it's too small.
It's too small for a lot, it has no improvements or anything like that. So we've just had this parcel for quite a while, in hopes that I could turn it into a trailer parking area, but apparently that didn't come to
Helicopter pad.
fruition.
Small for a helicopter.
Helicopter pad.
Still
Yeah,
too
that's my
small.
helicopter pad, but every time it is. So we had a developer reach out to us that knew about this, and was interested in purchasing this little parcel because he could use it as an access to some lots. It would access, actually, he's doing it on behalf of a lot owner that it's a lot, it's a family that's buying 2 lots, parents and kids on South Loafer. And the lots sit in a spot that make, access through a driveway really steep. So having an access through Bear Hollow makes it, it's a fairly flat access, and makes it much better to access their lots.
How long is it? Would it make it a flag lot then, if that was the access?
What, would it just be is it
Just
one of the
changes.
adjoining lots?
What's that?
Is it one of the adjoining lots?
So
It is its own right.
No, I mean that
Yeah,
people that wanna buy it.
No, it's not. It's 2 lots that sit on the
Behind.
backside
On
of
the
it, at South
backside.
Loafer. So this would help them instead of accessing the driveway up South Loafer, because it's really steep,
Oh,
they
okay.
would come off Bear Hollow to access their lots on South Loafer. So, this developer called us on behalf of the property owners, to see if we were interested in selling it. Obviously, we don't have a need for the property. There's not anything we could ever do with it. Too small really for us to do anything with. So we certainly were interested in surplusing it. To do that, we have to go through the surplus process, which includes city council. We have to advertise it for 45 days.
Yep.
45 days for sale, which is now got a for sale sign and being advertised for sale. We have to get it recorded with the county, so it has a serial number, which we're working on. We have had it surveyed, we have a legal description for it, and we've had an appraisal for the property. So, we have put it up for sale. There's still interest from this developer on behalf of these 2 property owners. Really probably the only other ones that would have anything to gain by purchasing this would be the 2 adjoining lots to it on either side. So we're gonna advertise it for 45 days, and then we can receive, I don't know what we call them, bids, but if someone's
Offers.
interested, offers for this property. Obviously, we did have it appraised. I thought the appraisal was pretty high.
I saw that.
I saw
I
that.
saw that
Yeah.
too.
I was like,
I mean, without being an improved lot, to sell it for that, I think that's about what I paid for my lot. When, of course, we bought it.
That was,
years ago.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago, but I don't think we'd ever get that. I don't think we'll get any offers for that much on it. You never know.
well, because you can't build on it.
Yeah, you can't build on it. It's only good to become part of another lot, or an access. So, so right now it is up for sale, and we'll keep it up for sale for 45 days. We'll receive offers on it, and then once we get the offers, we can come back to council.
So what would be the process then, since it's not a buildable lot, and it would be, if it was purchased by the developer to use as an access, because it's not currently zoned as an access, we would have to approve that, correct? To have an additional access to those properties through there?
No, I don't think it'd have to be zoned as an access, because it meets the current zoning requirements. It'd be a driveway, basically. It'd be like a driveway to a
And a long
house.
driveway.
A long driveway
That's
to a
why I'm
house.
wondering if it.
Probably
would be-
shorter than some of the ones we currently have.
If it would, okay, so it wouldn't be, that's why I was asking if it would be considered a flag lot, if it's long enough, that we'd have to put
it would
in.
actually not be owned by, I believe, and you
It's
can
gonna be
correct
owned by
me,
the HOA.
It's gonna be owned by Summit Creek.
So
So
how does
Summit
that work
Creek
with
would
their,
service
their,
it.
their private roads? Because that's one of the reasons
be
we
an
have
easement.
this.
It would be an easement for the lots
Okay,
through the HOA.
It helps with, if one of those landowners shifts and changes, or it eliminates the contention around who's in charge of maintaining it, who's in charge of plowing it. It eliminates all of that, which creates an
we
appetizing
need a fire
thing for them.
hydrant halfway through and all of that like
No,
we have
because
on
these
Sunny.
homes' addresses would probably still be West Loafer or South Loafer.
We're actually petitioning to change the address to Bear Hollow because the access point will be coming from Bear Hollow, just for the sake.
And that might be, and I would agree with probably looking at that, because
Helps
in
with
emergency
fire.
access, we want to make sure we're going to the right address to get access to these homes in our
Okay.
response. So it would be similar. So we did this with Sunny Ridge. If you recall, Sunny Ridge down on Summit Creek is it's essentially a private drive, but it's a drive for 5 homes, because we didn't want their driveways coming off of Summit Creek Drive, all 5 driveways right there in a row on that busy road. So they built a private drive behind the homes, so there's 5 homes that access that private drive.
Right,
It's not a city right of way, it's not a city road, it's a private drive. This would be similar.
similar to that. Okay, that puts it in context.
So
what's the value of that piece of property to the city right now? I mean, obviously, it can't be zoned for another building, but what about park? Is there any interest in anything like that? And I'm just throwing it out there in terms of,
Pocket park?
I mean, that's something to talk about. It's a fifth of an acre,
yeah.
total. It's 50 feet wide, 56 feet wide, because it's a road right away,
Yeah,
so it's the
road.
width of a road.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I mean, by the time you got access into there, you wouldn't have a lot of room to do much. I don't think you'd have room to put even probably maybe a playground, maybe, yeah.
Pickleball court.
They have those up there.
A single lane swimming, it's just
I'm
one
shot,
person.
I'm still open to a helicopter pad, but
I mean, it's not even wide enough for a helicopter.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Oh, we
don't
land
know
helicopters on 2-lane roads all the time.
So what was the intended purpose? Why was it platted like this in the first place?
because originally that road was gonna go all the way up.
Gonna go through.
So, yeah,
And then when they wanted it private, then it was,
So
so changed the configuration
it
of the
hasn't been
plan.
taxed because it's been considered
bigger
road
map.
still,
So
as far as the
Loafer was
county's
supposed to
concerned.
come down here and
Yeah.
straight into this.
So
But
although,
instead-
Currently recorded as a road right away.
Now, this isn't going to. So, right, I don't know which lots it's actually,
Two right behind it.
so the one it goes straight into,
Straight in, and there's two lots right here.
one on either side?
yeah,
Okay, that makes it, to me, that makes a little bit of a difference. And what I was concerned, one of the thoughts I had was, is it going to, is someone gonna try to split more? Because I didn't know who it was coming through. They're gonna try to get more lots out of it because they can meet the R119 with,
Yeah,
That
the
kind of thing.
actual, this actual little parcel is in an R1-2 PUD.
Yeah.
Now, South Loafer is an R119.
Yeah.
But it looks like it would be an access that would be owned by the HOA, but you couldn't make a lot out of it.
And we.
It's-
Yeah,
it's
no,
up to the
I saw that, but I just wanted to make sure that they weren't gonna, try to.
Tiny house could fit on there.
Hey, if
and
you guys want to zone it for that, sure.
Well, we have square footage.
we don't require a
Minimum.
cul-de-sac on an access like that, Wayne,
No.
a turnaround for fire, because it's short enough, right? Is that the case? That's what I'm kind of curious
that's
about
kind of what I was
there.
thinking, if it was a
If
flat
that was
lot,
gonna eat up
you don't have
anything
that.
with a turnaround, because we do have requirements, if it's so long, we have to have a
So
turnaround for fire.
it's essentially a private access. We do, if a home gets over 150 feet away, then we do require their driveway to be configured to become a hammerhead.
Yes,
Yeah,
and I'm,
So until we know what the homes are doing or building, we really, I guess I don't know an answer, but if the homes are more than 150 feet away from Bear Hollow, then the way they access their driveways would have to be built to be a hammerhead.
Yeah.
For the fire truck.
my driveway was grandfathered before that came in, so I'm actually longer than what it's supposed to be and not having a big enough spot. Mine's just slightly small.
And we've done this like down in Summit Creek, the Grafton Reach, their driveway that gets to their lot is way over 150 feet. But they configured their driveway
The
to be
path.
a hammerhead
Yeah,
for the.
so we've got a turnaround. And that's kind of what I was curious about. Those are the two things I was kind of curious about, but I wasn't sure the context of this until you were able to explain it. I had it all up on my computer when the page came in. I was actually putting that and the bids together today.
that's why I questioned
that would
if
come in-
if it was a flat lot because, road because of the length, if it needed the hammerhead and if it needed the fire hydrant, but if it's just a pass-through and you're saying that it's probably most likely going to be close enough, but if it's not, then the owners, would it be then the owner who purchases this or the HOA that would put in the hammerhead?
It would be part of the house construction. Until they build the houses, we won't.
Yeah.
Until we get the house plans, and that'll be part of the.
But
review
they will know.
process.
the
Yeah,
home- the
it's
homeowner
basically their
will know.
driveways would have to be big enough for us to have that hammerhead, that turnaround. And I've read through that extensively because my house doesn't meet that requirement.
Mhm.
And we do require that any homes that go over 150 feet off the road. We
Yep.
require them to configure their driveways so that we can turn an apparatus around it.
Yep.
What if you feel the truck?
Fire truck.
or plow
It's, yeah,
Situation.
And this is going to be private, so we're not gonna have to plow it, so it'll end up being a drive, and that would need to be very clear on this.
It'd be a private,
'Cause that would
private
be-
access that we would
Yeah,
have.
that would be very difficult for our.
It's like
our
Nebo.
equipment to do.
We don't plow Nebo, we don't plow
Yep.
Sunny Ridge, we don't plow, what's that one little?
They do their little
Biggest gate in.
bobcat down there.
Autumn, not Autumn Leaf, but yeah.
Autumn Blaze.
Autumn
Autumn
Blaze,
Blaze.
it'd be similar to that, they would do all that.
And the scope of our conversation right now is actually just,
Yeah,
do we sell it or not?
Yeah. If we do, I think that though we should disclose that it may need a hammerhead. I think we do need to disclose that.
I-
that would all be
that would
depending, we
on-
won't know until we get the house
Yeah, that's what I'm
plans.
saying, may need, just so it's up front that that is our ordinance, depending on where your home is. Because it could affect the way they, plat their house, on, configure their house.
No.
Is that John? You just tried me.
Perfect. Any other questions on this?
We heard that you wanted to buy some property.
No?
Yeah, I already thought it was already a done deal, but apparently not.
Okay.
I guess my only thing, Megan apparently has an interest in this. Is that something that we can speak to? What's the interest? That just helps you get to your property?
Yeah, I think looking at the property from below, the properties have sat for a while for sale. And I think it was hard to visualize how to put a house on the property from down below at Loafer. And then, the developer proposed this possibility and that really changed everything for us. So it was me and my parents, and my husband and I, and my parents buying the lots. And the access point from above just makes a lot more sense. And so that was our hope, is that we could access it. And we had gone through discussions with the developer, creating the road with a roundabout on the end. Maybe not necessarily a roundabout, but a circle shaped for services. Good to know about the distances and everything, but that's kind of where we're at with the offer is in. We're kind of contingent on whether or not we're going to do it. So.
I see I don't see any negatives to this, to be honest with you. The only other option would be to us put in a road, or the
Which we
developer
couldn't
put in a
do,
road.
because you'd run right into walls.
And
We
have
could,
a
Just be
little,
really stupid.
yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
You put a deadhead road that would deadhead a 2 lots, a 100-foot road that would deadhead a 2 lots.
So we would have to put a cul-de-sac.
Benefit us.
If it was our
Not
road.
enough space.
It doesn't make sense, so
Yeah.
this makes more sense to me than.
It was really, there's not really anything.
If it's the two on either side, it's perfect. I think it works out ideally for everybody involved. I wouldn't have a problem with them taking that address as well, even though you're on that circle. If you can't access it, you can't access it. Or if it's limited access, so you can only do it in the summertime, so.
And like Ted said, if an emergency call is made from those homes, we'd rather actually have come from Bear Hollow.
I
It's-
don't
we
mind
have a
carrying all
similar
that stuff
thing
up
with
there.
Sunny Ridge. When they call from Sunny Ridge, the address is actually Summit Creek. And so if you don't know that the house is actually on Sunny Ridge, you go to Summit Creek and then you're at their backyard, and then you have to run around the
Yeah.
house, right?
Yeah.
So,
And you're carrying heavy stuff up the hill. I don't like it. It's not fun.
That's my job.
I'm too fat for that.
Carry it down and I'll carry it.
Okay, all right.
Okay, on that great note, let's move to number 3. Now, we're gonna just carry on with the meeting, Megan. You're welcome to stick around. This is exciting stuff, so we're glad to have you. Anytime. Okay, discussion of June's 2026 financials and check disbursements. So you guys should have received those.
End of year.
Didn't have any comments?
No comments?
See, I didn't get, it didn't look like there was,
I looked at it all, I didn't see.
looked at it, didn't see anything. It was
I didn't either.
It's helpful.
nothing screwy.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, well, how about July? Anything in July?
Didn't, on any of them. They
Hey,
all looked.
I love this. We're burning through this. Okay, number 5, proposed resolution dissolving the Community Development Committee. So I just want to take a second here, and I think, I can't remember if I have already said something publicly. I believe I did last council meeting. But I just wanted to again express my gratitude personally for the great work that they did, Carrie, you especially.
Absolutely. They did a great job.
Carrie and Chloe kind of worked really hard to get the grant in the first place. And then they have been working, what, for 2.5 years?
More
It
than
feels
that.
3, more than 2.5 years, to work on that general plan, strategic plan, creating that committee, and it was some fabulous work. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, I think Kristen did a great job too with her, Kirsten with her leading that committee, and I think they are ready to be dissolved.
Perfect.
Are they, are the members of the committee still interested in doing more volunteering with the city and doing more?
I think so.
Okay,
I
I'd
think,
like to keep that on tap, right? That we got some, so
I
it seems to be the
believe-
same people, and knowing we've got some people that aren't on a committee that are willing to do committees is
So
nice. to
that
know.
committee was, Carrie was our liaison, Kirsten was our president, right? And then we had Brandy Johns, so Steve's wife, and Chloe Cleveland.
Yep.
Then we had Severin Johnson, who's on the planning
On the planning
commission,
commission.
and Lori Thomas, who's also on the planning commission. So it's really only Chloe who's
And
been in community or communications, and then Brandy. So it was really
And
fun having
Kirsten.
Brandy
and Kristen.
and Kirsten. So Brandy and Kirsten are kind of
We
the,
can't tap Brandy because we're gonna make her an EMT. So she
That'd be
doesn't know that
great.
yet. We keep telling her, but she doesn't know it yet.
perfect. And Kirsten's buried right now.
Then
So
Steve's gonna join her.
let's
And
keep them in
Kirsten,
the
she
back of
helped
our
with
mind.
Maple Festival.
Yes, yeah, and they've been, the people, Chloe's been involved a lot too, so I just wanna make sure that they're not trying to run away.
well, I think that they want to stay involved in the city.
They
some
just
one
need
way or
a
another.
breather.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay, any other comments or questions there?
Nope.
Okay. Wonderful, then we're gonna move on to our departmental reports. So Ted, this will be you. We're going to go to the Community Development, Public Works, and the Fire Department. Focusing primarily on an update of pavement management project and funding, the discussion of the snowplow leases, and an update on the pickleball court.
So pavement management project is underway. They started yesterday. It's really tearing up some roads. So, they've been trying to keep as much as good as they can access for people to get to their houses, their driveways. There are some temporary disruptions while they dig up the road. What we found in digging it up is there's less pavement and more dirt than what we'd hoped. And so when you look at it, you don't see, when you go watch them grind it up, you don't see hardly any asphalt. It's all dirt, right? So we probably didn't have a lot of asphalt down, hence all the cracking. So what they do is they go through and they grind it all up. It goes 8 inches deep. So it gets the asphalt plus all the dirt down to 8 inches, which is mostly dirt. Grinds it all together, and it's pretty good dirt. It actually is road-based material, so it's pretty good dirt in there. And then they kind of left with this 12 inches of just soft material. That's what's kind of hard to drive on. They got a grader and a roller coming in behind it, grades it down and then rolls it, so it makes it more drivable. So they're trying to keep people's access as good as they can while they're doing this, but it is a little bit, I think we were hoping it was more asphalt, so it would just grind up asphalt grindings, and it would be fairly drivable all the time, but it's not turning out that way, so. But we've had great residents. I haven't heard, only a couple have called, just asking, which gives us, so I don't get blocked in my driveway, or do I need to move my car, a few things like that, but everyone's been great about it. They're churning away. They've got Eagle Nest done and Grizzly done, as much as they're doing there, so. They're churning away up there. They will start paving Eagle Nest on Monday, I believe. So they told me. And then within 2 weeks, I'll have all of that upper area done.
So with that material that's left, do they just roll that? So they came in front of our house today. Noticed that too. It was a lot of dirt. It looked like they were farming. more than anything else. So I didn't know if, is that material gonna be left, like just, they had a roller come through, vibrate it down. Is that gonna just be compacted and then the new stuff laid on top of it, or will that be hauled away, that
Hauled away.
it'll be hauled out?
Yeah, so they have to take it down to 3 inches below the curb, because that's how much asphalt we're putting down.
Okay.
So they'll haul some away, they'll leave the remaining there, grade it out, and compact it all.
So are they classifying it as they're going to make sure that it's proper road base throughout the whole thing?
So that's a kind of a loaded question.
Yeah,
No, because they can't with asphalt in it, but it is road-based material that's below there. And even if we run into any bad clays, we'll look at removing them.
Okay.
So far, we haven't. It's all been base course. They've been mixing it with the asphalt, but when you got asphalt mixings in it, you can't classify, you can't test it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So, but even with that, it was not, we really don't, I mean, having the budget to bring all the new base course in or anything like that.
I know we were planning for it to be, I just want to make sure it's bad foundation's gonna give us a bad roof.
Right, exactly.
And that's what we don't want. We don't want a thick clay. We don't want a lot of dirt in it.
Right.
Where it's gonna wash out, and cause us problems.
So far, everything they have churned up has been pretty decent underneath. It's
And
about
they'll do
probably-
compactions on it before the pave.
Well, that's the other
They
thing.
do
They
that?
can't do actually compaction testing. We're gonna try, but unless you can do a proctor, which on this milled material, you
Yeah,
can't really do
no.
proctors.
No, I
So,
get that.
so we'll compact it and we did, this is the same process we did to Oak, Spring, Broad Hollow, when we did the water line project. It's the same thing we did to all those roads.
And we haven't hit any fiber lines yet? What's going on?
Oh, I told the contractor.
Some of them are like 2 inches below the asphalt.
Yeah, some of them heaved our asphalt a little bit. We drilled them, that's how close they were.
It's Comcast too.
Yeah. So, but
Yeah,
it's going
that's
just
a-
a little, it's a little bit more
Comcast.
disruptive than we'd hoped, but it's going well. And I think everything's going as good as it could right now. Turning up a little more dirt than we'd hoped, but we'll end up with a good product. It's pretty good dirt, so.
The pave's gonna be a little bit worse, I think.
What?
Keeping access, I mean,
Oh.
we have to let it cure before we can get on it.
Yeah, it
before we
normally
can-
takes a couple hours, cure asphalt. What they do is they roll it in the rollers, it puts out water,
Yeah,
and, so it cures it pretty fast. They'll probably within an hour or two let people drive on it.
we just don't want any big trucks up there.
Yeah.
We need to restrict that.
At least while it's hot.
So one of the things that was mentioned is that there would be door hangers on those doors that were affected. Those didn't happen. I'm not sure if that was city or if that was the contractor that was supposed to put those out.
So they did get them put out, but I think they went farther today than they planned. And so I called him, they're getting more made. They were up here Saturday and put out all the ones up from Woodland Hills Drive, Long Eagle Nest, up to Grizzly and down Grizzly. And
We
then
didn't
they-
get one. The only reason we knew is there was a road closed sign at
Yeah,
our door.
and then
So
they
that's why.
started going around Eagle Nest, but I think
Right
their
out?
churning made it, no, I think they made it farther than they thought they were going to.
Oh, okay.
So they didn't get door knockers out to some of the houses because they were going quicker, faster than they thought. But he talked to their project manager today, and I'm asking him to revise those door knockers too. A little bit, to let people know that they will be disrupted to their driveway for a little bit, maybe an hour or two, while they're going by and get a level out a little bit.
I know we had people putting their trash cans out, pulling them in and getting them moved and whatever. Trash get picked up okay. I know that they were.
From what I
trying to
heard, I talked to the trash truck driver, and he said he made it around the whole thing and picked up all the trash cans that were out. Everything that was churned up. He said it was a little difficult in a few spots, but he got all the way around and picked them all up. So.
Great.
They like the adventure.
Yeah, it is a disruptive process, but they're going quicker, I think, than we thought, and it's probably going to.
It's less disruptive than our snowstorm, so it's probably easy for them.
Yeah, and we'll end up with a good product. I'm gonna try and send out some Yapifies and just update people a little bit what's going on. So. We did also have them look at the parks. We talked about paving the park. I went up there and met with them this morning. They're gonna put together a cost if we wanna look at paving that parking lot. It'll have to be graded out a little bit. And then they may have enough in the grading to fill some material in and then pave it out and pave it a little past the fence so we can then build a trail from there over to the new pickleball course. So we have ADA access all the way through from a paved parking area. So I'll come back probably with a cost for that once they get.
It's a pretty big rock there in that parking lot. They're probably gonna have to pull that out, aren't they?
Oh, that parking lot's that's solid stuff there. That is some good material to put pavement down on.
All right.
Yeah. So anyway, snowplow leases. So our snowplow leases are due next June 2027. So this will be our last winter with the 2 snowplows we have. We had talked about staggering the snowplows, maybe sending one back and leasing the new one, and then trying to extend one for another year, so we get them on off years. So we're replacing one of the plows each year. I had another thought that I want to bring to council, and that is, the company we're going through right now, I'm not totally enamored with, just because they're not really responsive. One, and two, the international snowplows are not probably the top of the, I don't know that we're wild about the international snowplows. So I reached out to a company that we lease our other vehicles through, United Fleet Services. And these guys are local. Their rep just lives right here in Utah County, and I think he's Mona. And we lease a couple of our vehicles through them. Really good to work with. So I asked them about getting some snowplow leases through them. And we would change the chassis. Ford doesn't make a chassis big enough yet with a good motor, but Chevy does. So we'd look at maybe getting a couple of Chevys. That would be the equivalent of the internationals. And so I had them put together kind of some lease costs for us. And what I looked at was either a 3-year lease and then either a 4 or a 5, either one. And so my thought was we send the 2 back we have, the internationals, in June because they're due. And then we lease 2 new ones on a staggered lease. So we'd get 2 new ones this summer on a lease, but the lease would be staggered. So we have a 3-year lease and then either a 4 or 5, depending on what we want to do. They're pretty flexible. So I had him put together a cost to do that for us, because if we wanted to, we could start building them now, because it'll take probably 3 months to get the chassis, then another 3 months or so to get them built. And they're actually slightly cheaper than the lease costs we have now through the other company, but I'll just say it's a wash. It's close enough. It's probably a wash, but I guess the thing is it doesn't go up in cost. We pay about 30-something thousand now for leasing these, 33, I think it is, a year. The new ones would be about 30, so we'd actually be saving a little bit of money. And that's kind of an estimate, because the full build out, we estimated a cost for the build out, but I think we've overestimated, and he also projected a little high, so it could even come in a little better, not knowing the timing of this.
And Ted, you probably both can speak to this. The reliability of the trucks we have, obviously much better than the old stuff, right? Obviously.
The plows don't just automatically fall off of these ones, yeah.
One of the thoughts when I thought about doing the staggered leases and brought that up previously, was to actually get a 3rd truck, so that we didn't have those breakdowns, because we had so many breakdowns previously. Are we ready for that? Are we ready for a 3rd big truck, or?
Well, we've got a service truck that's a plow truck.
I know,
And
but
that's
it's-
on a lease as well.
Yeah, but it's doing circles. I mean, it's circles. It's doing cul-de-sacs, sorry.
Cul-de-sacs and then main roads when it has
And
to.
crossings and stuff like that. And it has a purpose, and I hate taking away from that purpose on that.
And Ben probably knows as much as I do. I mean, it's hard to gauge from this last year. We kept up just fine this last year.
Yeah,
There
this
was
last
one
year,
storm-
we didn't have any snow.
There was one heavy storm.
Supposed to have a big snow
that
this
took
next
us,
year.
that
Maybe,
was
we're
pretty
kind of
heavy.
in the
We
middle,
struggled to
like
keep
on
up
the
with it,
edge.
but I don't know if we've had a need yet, one, for 3 plows, and 2, finding people to fill the seats is actually.
So
just-
I'm not even thinking, I mean, maybe on a big storm, we bring in, the fill-ins like me to help on main roads or going off on the side with a 3rd plow. I'm thinking of having a plow in reserve. So that
I don't think we're to that need. I do think, though, a 3rd plow is probably something that we should have a discussion pending 3 bridges. 'Cause
Well,
we've been
obviously, yeah,
talking-
when 3 Bridges is ready, they've talked about us picking up their, and I could definitely see that. And honestly, when you think about it, Summit Creek is going to get to the point where their Bobcat's not gonna cut it, right?
They may be there, and I've had discussions with Bucky about potentially having a conversation around us taking on that as well, and they would pay us for those services. So I don't think the discussion is necessarily 100% premature. Currently, though, so 3 years ago during the big storm, when I was basically plowing every single day for 7 months straight.
October 10th.
That, yes.
I remember that.
That
never stopped.
was, we had Big O, so we had the massive, huge one, and it was broken
98% of the
Yep.
time.
all the time.
So we were basically hitting that season, with just the two primaries and the service truck.
service truck.
And that was with the crappy service truck that couldn't plow uphill.
I know.
And so I think right now we are in the best possible situation for our snowplow options.
We're a year behind on snowplows, and I'm glad Ted is bringing this up now, because we sat with the old snowplows for an extra year while we were getting these done. We need to be thinking about, I'm glad you thought about it, Ted, and they're bringing it up now, because I think we need to be pushing now to get those leases going. I 100% agree with you.
Yeah,
Because it takes almost a year to get those trucks outfitted, built and outfitted. It just,
and that's why we're switching why I want to switch leasing companies. It would actually be a different company building them for us as well. Different individual building them for us as well. And leasing through a different company. So I did talk to him about the company, and he said it would take him about 3 months to get the chassis. And then it'd probably be, talking to the guy building them, it'd probably be about 3 or 4 months.
3 months is super fast.
He said 10 weeks, is what he told me, 10
So
weeks.
if we
I've just
ordered
3 months,
them-
I've added a little bit on
Yeah.
to his 10 weeks.
If we order them, then for the 2027 snow season, they could be done by September or October to be used.
Yeah. It'd be good to get started on it right
Yeah.
now.
It'd
So
probably
we
hit
have
middle of
them.
winter.
Yeah,
Yeah, we want to run.
Winter really starts.
So kind of, I'm envisioning a time frame on this so Ted's done a lot of the preliminary. I want to get that now over to the finance committee for them to vet all the numbers and to get that logic. And I think proposing a third truck for the finance committee to look through makes perfect sense.
Yep.
I personally don't think we're to that need yet. I think there needs to be an additional service required for that third truck to be justified.
and revenue.
And revenue. But I think this finance committee, looking through that, is a great asset and utilization of the finance committee. Once we get through all of that process, which we all know that takes a couple months, then I think it's down to Ted deciding on the make, model, configuration.
Yeah,
That'll
and
be
that is what it is.
and then we can pull the trigger
But,
with the
yeah.
council.
And I would suggest we try to shoot for a couple months to have this ready to go, because we're gonna have to, if we're gonna want them for the 2027, 28 winter. We're gonna have to get these going within a couple months.
Yeah,
When does the lease end, these current one, is it like June, July?
Yeah, but we could, we could just extend payments on it. It doesn't, that's what we had to do last time.
The internationals, they've done okay, but I mean, they're not the
They're
best.
better than the
chassis.
last set.
They're better, but right now, like, both check engine lights are on.
I don't,
The thing I love
But I
about
know
the-
why. I know why they're on it. We're gonna make some changes to our way we plow with these trucks to try and prevent that from happening.
thing I love about the internationals, and I'm just gonna be a little cheeky, is, they make me feel a little more of the holiday spirit because the dashboard does light up.
flashing lights all over.
With the check engine light, with the exhaust light, with all the other lights that are all constantly going on. And that's why I've also been pushing hard with Ted to change from the international model, it is throwing codes so often. And until the Hercules motor
Chevy
gets into the
Internationals,
floor.
it doesn't have,
Um,
I'd love to go for it, but they just don't.
I know,
have
I'm
a
just,
motor.
I'm playing with you.
but has because, it was a little controversial when we decided to do the leases. There were people that were opposed. So overall, internationals aside, has it been better? I mean, it seems like it's been like 100% better, right?
Much more reliable the trucks are when we lease them and just run through leases. And this is, I understand why other cities have, this is how, I would say, most other cities that do a lot of plowing like us handle their plows is they lease them and rotate them, and I see why now. Saves us, I mean, when you're down at the plow, it is scramble trying to get stuff plowed. And that's when things get unsafe.
Citizens get angry.
Citizens get angry. We've had a few times this last year, we went down with a plow, and it takes a while to get stuff done when you only have one plow. So having reliable plows is I think very valuable, and the best way to do that is to replace them every 3 to 4 years, I think.
That's even long, in my opinion, because of salt. I mean, just because of salt.
Yeah, and they don't do, I mean, like these internationals, this will be their third season. And I think they're doing pretty good as far as wear.
Yeah, but I,
Most of the stuff
I
that
don't,
goes out on these are, we lose a heated lamp, you know.
I
that's gotta be
hate
fixed.
pushing it beyond the three that we set those with.
Well, I think this initial one, I think it'd be good to do it, just maybe push one to a 4.
And that would, yeah, you,
Then after that, it would go to a 3, then you'd be on 3-year rotation.
well,
all the time.
and maybe in 2 years, you're ready to pull on that third truck. That's kind of what I'd like to get a new truck, you know, if we had 3 trucks and we needed 3 trucks and we're getting a new one every single year and have them all on 3-year leases, that's what I envisioned when I brought that whole thing up, just for the reliability of it, because your older truck's gonna be the one that does fail, and you've got 2 more that you can maintain with a lot easier than you can with 1.
Oh, we gotta
And
get
that-
some snow.
Yeah,
We've got an awesome public works technician that maintains those trucks.
I know, he's awesome.
He actually does too good a job, because if you get in there too quickly, you slide all over because the mats are so clean and
I hate those mats.
Really?
he uses like tire polish or something.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
No, they're great mats.
They're
It's just
great
the polish
mats,
isn't-
They're WeatherTech, but they won't stay still.
Throw a little dirt on there first.
Oh, he keeps things so clean and organized down there that it's.
No, he does a fantastic job. But, you know, that's kind of my vision from 3 years ago or 2 years ago, was I would like to see us get to where we're putting a new truck in service, a big truck in service every year, and we've got them on 3-year leases, because that's where our reliability is. We proved it, but it's been proven before that. We did the research, right?
I'll have to put one of these on and off here for now.
And that makes sense, right? And it might be time in 2 years to pick up a third truck. That's kind of why I want to bring up the discussion, because if we plan for that would hit right in the right zone to put us on every year for 1 truck. I was wondering how we were gonna get there, and that's a really good idea.
So I guess the direction is we'll pass this on to the finance committee. and
Let's
let them-
create it, let's package the whole thing up to deliver to the finance committee. And we'll go from there.
All right.
Probably
the-
have you come discuss it with them too. They'll probably have a lot of questions.
So the other grant we have is the community project funding grant through Burgess Owens' office. I did get hold of his office this week. The list of 20 projects that Burgess Owens took to the Appropriations Committee has now been through the Appropriations Committee. I think his list of 20 got whittled to 4 coming out of Appropriations Committee. Luckily, we were one of the 4.
Oh, wow.
Our money got cut a little bit, so we got recommended from the Appropriations Committee for $850,000.
What were
So,
we trying for?
what's that?
What were we trying for?
Well, we went in with 3, so I went in initially
some
4.9 million.
Yeah.
And they said, there's no way you're getting that, because they will allow you to go up to 5. And they said, there's no way. What could you do to cut that? I said, well, if we did 2.9 million, that would get most of our project done.
Everything.
And then they said, well, how about less than that? So we eventually, we got down to about $1 million, I think was the least amount. And then we have to do a match of that of about $500,000, which we've been saving for. But so I went in with the lowest that we would accept would be, or we would want, not accept, but we would want is $1 million with our match dollars. So it'd be $1.5 million project. It got cut to 850 was the bad news. The good news is we made it through. 16 others off this list got cut, I believe, from what I can see.
Yeah.
So it's made it through the Appropriations Committee. However, it's now at Congress and probably won't, I don't know that we'll hear anything going through Congress for the next year, he said. It's basically a bill they gotta pass, right? All these projects, and I think there was some multi-million dollars of projects. It's all through the United States. And I think I counted how many hundreds of projects. But anyway, it's one bill. But that bill probably won't make it through Congress at best by the end of the year, he said. So,
Yeah.
So maybe if pending with elections, they might be able to get it through.
yeah.
And if not, then would that continue on with Congresswoman Malloy's office now that she's going to be our Congresswoman after he leaves?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
I don't
fine.
know.
I think it would transfer, those existing things would transfer
If
over.
it's cut that much, I honestly think we need to not say it's not gonna happen, but say it's phase 2. I think we need to really look at financing to get Maple and some other things done. We're sitting on a time bomb.
So what I would like to do is use this to leverage funding. If you can use federal funding to leverage state funding, it weighs a lot better with the state, and you'll likely get better funding through the state. So I want to start the application process with the state, because they have 4 funding meetings a year, I think it is. I'm not sure when the next one is, but start the application process with the state in hopes that this has made it through by the time we hit the state, and that we can leverage this money into state funding. The bottom line is, though, we're gonna have to go through some public hearings because it's gonna have to be a water rate raise.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
So it's
I
gonna
think we
take a
need
little
to-
time.
I think
I've
we
already
need
done a
to-
water rate analysis.
I think we need to move.
We've done a water rate analysis, and I'll probably bring that to the council, maybe next council meeting, to start letting you look at water rates. Because that'll have to go to public hearing, and we're gonna have to raise water rates in order to take on funding. And then start the application process with the state and then leverage this money for some. Rather than make it another phase, I'd rather leverage it into one bigger phase. Because I think that'll get better,
Yeah,
we'll get better rates from the state.
and they'll be more willing to,
Yeah, but
They're
if,
more willing to.
yeah, they're more willing to
if we
work
have
with
to
us
wait
when
a
they
year
say
for
that you
that,
have that
then
much.
we're-
Which is, I
2.5
mean, if we,
years down
it's
the
gonna
road.
take us 6 months to get through the public hearing process anyway. So
Yeah.
let's use the funding we have to leverage more
we
funding.
don't have any funding.
Well, let's say 150.
We don't have it.
We'll find out by the end of the year, and we're gonna be that long with the state anyway. What I'm saying is, if we go to the state only and they give us federal funding, then we can't take this funding,
Right,
if that makes sense. If we take this funding to the state, then we can get state funding, which is lower interest and less federal red tape.
right.
But you can't match federal with
Benefit.
federal.
No, I'm not saying that.
But if we get this money, then I can't request, and the state gives us federal money, then one of the two I can't take. Does that make
They're
sense?
2 different phases.
But you can't leverage federal with federal. And if I can leverage this
They don't
money,
care
and the
about
state
the
money,
fees.
we'll get better interest rate, less red tape, and it'll make our project go farther,
Yeah, but you're saying that it's next year.
which is fine. We're not gonna start a project till probably another year and a half anyway or so.
Well, I just want it to not be, I want it to be as fast as possible. I just
Well,
think we need to.
I
mean, we're-
agree, but I
we're-
wanna move as smart as possible too.
I get that, but I think
If we move too
we
fast,
are moving.
I think if we move too fast, we're going to not get as much project done,
Right.
because
Get
we
the-
won't get as good as.
Put the funding in place, then you can do more project, you can be more strategic.
Well, I don't even know if we have to have it in place. If this makes it through Congress by December, we're not gonna get on the drinking water board before that anyway. We start the application process with them, go through our public hearings. That's gonna take us at least till December.
Well,
January,
yeah,
February.
let's do it. That's what I'm
We
saying.
use this to leverage it.
And if this comes through, great. If it fails, then we're ready to at least do part of it, right?
Sort of changes our application process.
It might, but I think we need to move.
Ted is currently working on it.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm,
it
that's
just
what I'm
takes a
saying.
long time.
So I've
We
done the
waited-
water
It's
rate,
just a
I've done the
hurry and
water
wait.
rate study, which is the first step. And I've already talked to the Division of Drinking Water about, funding options with them. But once again, I think there's a balance of moving, but also moving smartly and getting as much project as we can. I would rather get money to do Maple, Mountainville, and more streets than just get money to do Maple. Because then you leverage your construction dollars farther as well, because then you're not doing multiple projects.
I agree with it. I just.
So I think the more we can leverage this, and I think waiting 3 months is not gonna affect our water lines at all.
Is it just gonna be 3 months? I mean, we waited 6 months because they weren't doing any lending.
That's
And then we
three and a
waited
half.
another 3 months, and then, that's what I'm saying. I
So,
don't,
I guess-
we seem like we're waiting.
just have to
a
We're
lot.
not
patient.
waiting, so bottom line, we're not waiting.
Come
We've been
this
doing a
way.
lot of stuff. between
I know
now
you,
and
I know you are.
And
I
it's a
just don't-
process.
I think we're good. Yes, Steve.
So the point being is, I agree with what you're saying. I mean, urgency. I also know that Ted, on so many occasions, not myself, but Ted and others have gone in the middle of the night to check on water line breaks and people who haven't had service all of a sudden. So I don't think we need to relay the urgency to Ted because I'm sure he's
He knows.
selfishly the one who cares the most about it.
I would love to start tomorrow,
Yeah,
but I also want to get the biggest bang for our buck.
yeah.
I would rather do more water line. If it costs us 6 months, we can do another mile of water line for the same amount of funding
Yeah.
request.
Yeah,
Stretch our dollars further. I would rather wait the 6 months and do another mile of water line, because that saves me more nights out in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
If we have more water line replaced. And if we move too fast, I think we're going to, and not try and nail these two fundings together, then, we're gonna probably get less of a project done and just leave us more.
and it would affect our
There's
water
no
rates
way to
too.
do a parallel path here.
So we're doing a parallel. That's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing.
That's what I'm doing.
Well, you're,
But what I'm saying
you're
is, I
saying
don't
it
wanna
with,
forgive one funding. I don't wanna forget one funding to accept
no,
another.
I
I
understand
wanna
that,
take them both at the same time.
but can we say if the federal funding works, we're going this path, if it doesn't, we're going this path, but we're starting both at the same time?
They're already doing this.
That's what
Okay,
they
that's
do.
what I wanna make sure that we're delaying, waiting on this.
And I haven't been.
Okay.
I think we can keep going down this path, but let's talk about pickleball courts.
I've been waiting.
Yeah. So the pickleball courts, we have the 30% design complete, and that's been sent out to the Parks and Rec. I did get an email from Sherry today. I didn't get a chance to read the whole email, but the gist of it, I think it sounds like there was a lot of comments back from the Park Trails and Rec Committee.
Okay.
Um,
On Saturday.
Most of them saying, let's go with what has been shown. So, the plan is for the engineers to have the work complete, final design done by September 1, and then we'll put it out to bid. It'll take us probably a month to get through the bidding process, pick a contractor, and just let them kind of determine the timing, based on the weather. If we can do concrete, whether they get part of it done this fall and they come back next spring, or how we do that. But so it's in the works. We should have design done by the end of this 1st of September.
In line with that, I didn't have an opportunity to make that meeting, but I do want to sit down with some key stakeholders and just get the fundraiser going. Even though we're not finalized, just figure out what we want, what inclusions. So I don't know who wants to be a part of that, but I don't know if it's better to work with you, Ted, on that, or if we want to work with Sherry or whatever. She's gone quite a bit, and so we haven't had a chance to catch up, but I do want to get that rolling because it's going to be a long process, and I'd love to target
Woodland
getting
Hills Day.
50 to 75,000 for the city from it. So
It'd be nice if we could have something for Woodland Hills Day, and everybody's there, they're in the giving mood.
I would suggest working with the Parks Trails Rec Committee and their council representative
okay,
to get through the funding stuff. Just because I think they would be able to drive it in the community better.
okay,
Having community representation.
okay.
So I suggest working through them and
And then just tell Ted how much money he's got.
And you might want to call
sure.
some of the other communities around us that have done something similar with the bricks or pavers or whatever, just to get a jump on best practices.
Mhm.
So that then when you meet, you can say, oh, this community did this.
Yeah, yeah.
This might be helpful to call them.
See what they've done. The only thing that I noticed is, are we gonna make sure that those courts are turned so they're going north-south?
they are.
Oh, they are currently, okay, sweet.
Yep.
The only other thing I wanted to talk about for just a second, since it's a public works thing, was the internet outage, which I know a lot of people were upset about that, and to recognize that it was nothing to do with you or in our city, but outside of our city. When I talked with Utopia about that, they called me right away, sent me some pictures, and just so that our residents who also called, all of us, that it did have the blue stakes and they know what the regulations are on that. But it appears that, as I talked with other cities too, sometimes contractors realize that August they're getting close to projects needing to be finished, so they don't always do everything they're supposed to, like dig by hand within so many feet of that blue
So,
stake line,
hold on.
etc.
This one, actually, the contractor was SESD
Mhm.
and Utopia incorrectly marked the line.
Oh,
So there was no violation beyond the fact that the blue stakes was marked
was wrong.
incorrectly.
It was
So
wrong.
thus, when they dug, there was not supposed to be anything there.
I see.
And that's
Well,
why
and
they hit it.
Yeah, so it happens, fairly often that these things get dug up. So it was just explaining to our residents that the hard part is that whoever digs it up has to pay for it, but,
Not
or
in this
not
case.
in this case now, yes, but typically, but there are no punitive damages. So if a contractor does do it wrong, all they have to do is pay for the damage and to get it fixed, which, to our city, being out of the internet all day long, that affected a lot of people in their business and schooling and whatever, right? And so there's nothing that is currently done, but I think there is some legislation being proposed. So whichever side is at fault has to pay some punitive damages to the
challenge with that
municipality.
is sometimes proving fault,
Mhm.
right? So I've done millions and millions of dollars worth of projects, and I probably I have not yet seen a project where they don't hit utilities.
Right.
It is tough because utility companies, always don't mark. So utility companies hire a third party,
To market.
blue stakers usually to market. Now, we do our own, but other hire third party utility companies. So, and I actually sat in a meeting where a contractor hit a main power line, knocked 500 homes out of power in the winter, a hospital, 3 intersections, and blew a water line apart. And this was major, like tens of thousands of dollars worth of damage because a blue staker didn't mark a power line correct and the contractor hit it. It was a main power feed for this whole 600, it was up in East Salt Lake area. And so there were meeting after meeting after meeting at who was at fault here. Was it the blue stake company? Was it the utility company? Was it the contractor? And obviously then you get attorneys involved and everything like that. So it is tough, and I think that's why they don't, because you would probably spend, this is just personal opinion of mine, you spend more money on attorneys and fighting these in court than you would just telling the company, listen, you gotta pay for our company to fix it, and that's gonna be your damage. And that's the way it is now. Now they could fight them out, but I think it's,
Yeah,
because sometimes it's tough to prove too, because utility says if their marks are within 3 feet.
Right.
So they say if it's within 3 feet, then it's good mark.
Mm-hmm.
But then you've got to prove, was it within 3 feet? Was it 3 feet 1 inch? Was it 2 feet 11 inch? And when it's dug up, the mark's gone. So how do you prove that? So
Yeah.
those things are really tough. I think that would be a hard sell. That's just my personal opinion.
Taking phone calls
Yeah.
from residents. And the general consensus of all of them that called in, it's an inconvenience, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a first world inconvenience. I get it.
First
People
world
had-
problems.
Yeah.
You know what? People had businesses. My husband had a big presentation. He had to go to Provo and do it. It's an inconvenience.
Yeah.
But it's not a life altering thing.
Yeah,
It's
for
8
for
hours.
most people, yeah, it wasn't. I think the calls that I got, once they saw that, the city was being responsive, that helped
Well, we
ease.
have nothing to do with
Well,
it.
but
though.
you just put something out, right?
Yeah,
So
we
we
put
put
something
something
out,
out, and I
hoping-
think that helped people right away, and then having that timetable that said they're hoping the estimation time. Of course, it did help when you put the thing out that said, hey, call your own utility the utility company, and or look on their website because they're putting things out. That also helps people to alleviate the panic of, is it just a temporary thing? Is it an all-day thing? Was it somebody in our city? Was it outside of our city? All those things help de-escalate the tension that can come from these kinds of things. So I thought we did a good job in at least communicating that out, and recognizing, and I think that helped a lot on the people who were upset, because they then knew drive to Provo or drive to Starbucks or wherever they were gonna get their internet that day.
If that happens again on a workday week, like I have Starlink and
And you know what,
nobody at my house is home in the middle of the day, I'm just saying you could borrow it.
And most of us, well, actually, our IT contractor has 2 Starlinks. And he totally forgot to tell me it, and he has one that we could have used. We had hotspots, or at least I had a hotspot on my
Worked off
home.
a
Ted
hotspot
had a
all day.
hotspot on his phone. we were able to still, do work and function. Plus there's lots of, filing and going through stuff in the back room that doesn't take internet. We still are able to function here at the city.
I just worked off my hotspot all day.
Okay, I have one and it's just for camping, so I was just offering.
Yeah, and there might be
Glamping.
residents who need that,
Yeah.
but,
Glamping.
Wonderful. No, I think that's good. And I also, in my vlog this week, I put out a statement about utilities.
watched
Yeah,
it.
I thought it was good.
So,
That's why I just wanted to bring it up, but I didn't know that the other part, but I think
Anything
that's
else that-
helpful.
No? Okay, Wayne. Planning Commission and Code Enforcement.
When the city council got out of the subdivision business, I told you I'd periodically give you some updates and things on subdivisions and particularly maybe some nuances that we're experiencing with them a little bit. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about two different subdivision issues. I sent you all a couple of pictures of Bellevue subdivision. They finished all their infrastructure work many months ago and made no effort to record. And so I should record Phase B. They have 2 lots that were recorded a long time ago. But the other lots are not recorded yet, so they can't sell those lots. Some subdivision developers are taking reservation money and things like that, which we're not concerned with. But the bottom line is the lots aren't recorded, and so we don't issue a building permit for those lots until there's a recording done. We have tried for many months to try to get the developers of Bellevue to record. There was some information that needed to be added to the Mylar, and they, for one reason or another, haven't done it. So our ordinance, it gives them 365 days from when they start infrastructure work till recording. If it's not, if the recording is not done within 365 days, they lose all the vesting that they've done. It's like they're gonna have to start over again. We've communicated that to them, that they've lost that. So we're trying to set up with them a shortened version of reactivating the subdivision. Now, they can get an extension if they ask 60 days before it's due to expire. And again, they didn't do that. So we've given them a number of things that we want updates on in order to go forward with a request now to the city to reestablish that subdivision process for them. One of the concerns that I have, Planning Commission has, is when the original approval was under the previous owner of the plat, Carol Bell. And the other developer came in and purchased the property then and continued to go forward with that development plan for the subdivision. And they're the ones who have done all the work associated with it. When we approved, us, Planning Commission, and you all, for that development of that subdivision, we gave the then developer, who is Carol Bell, some approvals to do some grading on that property to facilitate placement of homes and making lots out of It was of such a design that it was going to be extremely hard to do. So we gave them those allowances at the beginning. And there was a commitment from Carol Bell's group that they would do as minimum as possible, but in order to get the grading that was necessary to allow homes and structures to be built
Kind of
on
a
those
buildable
lots.
space,
Correct.
yeah.
Yeah.
Footprint.
So, we're assuming that got transmitted to the new developers, and it's our understanding that the civil engineer stayed the same. But I don't know how much checking that was done during the process. And my concern is they may not have done enough grading to facilitate having less than 35% slopes in that area. Those pictures that I sent you,
Yeah, I
there are
noticed.
2 lots, the backside of the cul-de-sac. And when you look at those and you look at the drop off in front, coming down to the property line, they're just, to me, eyeballing it, it seems like it's gonna be problematic.
Mhm.
What we don't want to be in a situation is we go ahead and approve that subdivision, approve those lots, and then somebody comes back to us and says, we can't build on them. Their slope is too great, and by ordinance, they can't. So then they have to potentially go through the variance process and pay and come in and appeal their case. So there's provisions that we can do that if we, planning commission now, can give them variances in the beginning of the infrastructure work. So we've asked them to provide us basically a grading survey so that we can see what grades are, particularly in these 2 lots that I took pictures of and sent to you. So if they don't qualify, going through a new subdivision process now, and they can get in there and do some more grading to accommodate the lot.
If they've already
for
gone
building.
through and it has expired, the 365 days, so they have to start over. But wouldn't the original approval that's conditioned on them making those lots buildable with the new grading, that would still be enforced? So
No, it's
it would not be
They
enforced?
lose all vesting that they had.
So it would
before.
have to be reapproved by us, and then we could put that statement back in,
We can't.
and then
And
they,
that's what,
yeah,
when we
instead of
see-
variance to the new people buying it, just if they are going to go through the process all over, we just put that back into the whole development agreement.
yes.
I think that would
That
be
would be
better
the
for
fair thing to do.
for the developer to have to be responsible for that, not the homeowner responsible for a variance, because a variance, although it's nice, it also increases the price of your home to have to build. I mean, we can build anywhere, but increases the price when it's on a slope that is not really meant to be buildable.
Correct. So that's our plan going forward, what we're going to do, and we'll see what the engineer comes back with as far as the slopes that are in there now. But eyeballing it, I just have reservations that, and that causes problems with septic. They're not on sewer. And that potentially causes problems with septic because public health has requirements that they have to be so far away for
And we require
from slopes for septic.
alternate,
They may,
septic at that
there's 2
point.
lots that do require, and we're getting a new letter, because that letter expired in 3 years. It's passed now.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna have to get us a new public health letter regarding their septic systems. So there's quite a few things that they're gonna have to do anew. And we're having difficulties getting a hold of responsible parties in this process with that group. That you get somebody who's willing to.
But they
Put
won't be
things
able
in
to
order.
sell them because even though they've been technically approved, they haven't been recorded, so they can't sell them anyways.
That's correct. Other than the 2, the first 2 they did, they could sell those, but the rest they can't sell.
Well, one of these was, they were pushing to buy one of the second phase lots to merge it with the first phase lot, if you remember. And that obviously didn't happen because we never got that recorded, so. apparently, I'm guessing those buyers have backed out completely, so. But septic was an issue with these, and I appreciate that you're staying on top of that, because that was one of the things that we looked at when they brought that, because that was still under the council at the time.
Yes.
And so it was kind of a dual planning
Yeah.
commission and council. But thank you for keeping an eye on that.
Thank you. Yes. Any questions on that part? We're trying to work with them and help them through some of these things, and we're cutting a lot of the normal stuff out of a second attempt here to get subdivision approved to facilitate, so that, but we're satisfying ourselves, but we don't want to short ourselves, the city, in this process, but there's some.
As long as we're staying within, I don't want you skipping over something that is in our code, because that, we don't want to put any liability back on us for anything, even though it's gone through it once. Let's not make sure, let's make sure that we're not missing anything, that you're crossing all T's and dotting I's, because we don't want to stick our necks out there. So I'm glad there's a way for you to that we got it in there, that you can, do a little bit quicker for them. So hopefully they get through this.
Okay.
Can work.
The second one, just to bring you up to date a little bit, is Havenwood subdivision. You might notice that since the road got in, everything else stopped.
Yeah, I
Over there.
noticed that.
So there's ditches that they haven't put in yet, and there's a driveway that they haven't torn up and a new one put in.
I was wondering about that one too,
So
because that was
that's
part of
still
the,
hanging fire. That was part of the infrastructure work that was to be done. They bid on another project that they got, so their attention has been taken from that area, but we've been in touch with them and informed them that these things, there's not gonna be any building permits issued. And they've got quite a bit of interest in those lots over there, and they're recorded on some of it, on phase A that they've done. But they still got some infrastructure work that they need to do.
So with the phase A and B, when they connected, that didn't stop phase A. They were able to record that.
Correct.
Okay. I didn't realize, I thought once they kind of merged, they couldn't record.
They recorded all the work, all the infrastructure that they were doing. So that's in phase A.
Okay.
So but they haven't finished that yet. So anyway, that's kind of where that's at. If you notice, nobody's over there for a
yeah,
while, but like, we'll get them back. So that's kind of where that's at. So
You did not expire. I want them to expire on you.
But they're bonded, right?
they are,
mhm.
yes.
I have a question if you're done with that
Sure.
on code enforcement. When we have a resident who has had some issues with code enforcement, and then their home then becomes for sale, but those items haven't been taken care of, how does that work? Do we still require them to finish that or come up to date in the code before they can sell it? Do we put a lien on the property so that the new homeowners know it's not in compliance? What do we do? Because there is a home that's for sale on Maple right now that has had a lot of issues. And
Good.
I've gotten some calls from the neighbors asking about that.
I'm glad you raised that question. All right. This has been going on for a number of years with that home. About 60 days or so ago, they got another letter advising them to clean the property up. They haven't made any effort to do that. Starting around 30 days ago, there was a deadline given to them. And from that point, they are incurring $500 a day in fines.
Have you put a lien though? Okay.
I'm not through yet.
So when did the $500 a day start?
I
incurring?
mean, I'm like.
It started about a little more than 30 days ago.
So about the beginning of July.
Yeah, so, okay. And it's $100 a day for each violation. So I took and showed there was 5 different violations of our code.
Mhm.
So those $500 accumulate then, and that's a daily fine that they're incurring. So the first, I let it go for 30 days, and then we took and filed a notice of lien with the county to inform them, and it's recorded against that property. And I sent a copy to them as well. Now, we'll wait another 30 days and we'll add to that then the continued $500 a day fine. So right now, I think it was at around $13,000, something like that, for fine for these. And I'm a little surprised they haven't talked to me about that. We have pretty good open communication with things. But if they clear one thing up, then it'll be $100 a day less. And as time goes on, but they're still obligated for what they've accrued up to that point.
And if they sell it, it has to be paid through the sale.
Yes, it's collected at that time.
And if it hasn't been rectified,
That's
but
not a
they've
question,
had those
'cause it's
things,
what I
then
do.
it's still on the, I mean, how do the new owners know that that's not acceptable? That,
The
because we
title
don't want,
company should pick that up.
okay, so it would be.
That's-
the title-
That's what I just said.
Have to.
Due diligence.
Title company does a search, they'll find it, they call the city, they get a payoff.
But well, then, so that any violations that required actual work to be done, does the seller or the buyer have to absorb that cost?
Seller.
Yes. Or however they work it out. I mean,
It's per the contract.
Okay.
Yeah, they have to disclose it.
Wayne, can I ask you a question about it?
sure,
I'm not familiar with the property. Is this an unwilling or an unable?
unwilling.
Might be unable.
Well,
I don't think
Unable
so.
because they choose.
They choose to be.
Well, sure. I just mean, is it a resource problem? Like, is it something our neighbors need help with, or is it we're just giving the bird to the system?
Yeah. There's a,
I'd be happy to talk with you more about this. I
Alright.
just would rather not.
Yeah, for
Area
sure.
that.
there's never been, they've never said, we just can't do it.
Yeah.
So there's some false starts that they've had in some of this.
It's
It
definitely
definitely-
impacted the neighborhood.
Okay. Yeah, enough said.
There's a neighbor next door that probably moved because.
Yeah.
Stuff, so. Answer your question?
Yeah, I just, what I wanted to know, just to be sure that we,
That's,
that
there's
they're-
3 ways of addressing it. That's the least intrusive and the easiest way for the city to address it. We could get an attorney involved and take them to court if you wanted to, but now we're paying attorney and whatnot to do that sort of thing for us,
So
so.
there's incentive for them
Well,
to
the-
sell faster.
When the house is for sale, that's the best,
Yeah.
that is your absolute best option,
Mhm.
Which is.
100%. I've done it on great home sales. Because you actually get paid.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. Okay, nothing from emergency management. Doral, I see you are online.
Hi, everybody. I just want to say, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I just want to appreciate the work you've done this evening. Appreciate all of your service to the city, each of you. I was really impressed this evening with your intelligence of choosing a Chevy over a Ford. So, so,
It ain't done yet, buddy.
so with that,
Doral, you're talking about 911 dispatch, please.
Stay in your lane.
it's time for me to be quiet now. Thank you.
Thank you, Doral. Okay, we'll move on to the mayor and council reports. Mag and Cog, for me, I've got that meeting on Thursday, so nothing to report now. We've also had holiday breaks for those meetings. I had my board meeting for SESD this morning.
there's a number of things going on, but I don't think there's anything that's really drastically affecting the city. Though we had a fabulous month last month with SESD. The electric came in at like, usually we were paying around 10 to 15 cents per kilowatt. And we were down to like 7. Which really helps. So Jody, when we get the bill for the water pump, there won't be the AP whatever E on it. So that will help also with city costs and in that front. So the Dry Creek transfer station also, nothing really to report there beyond the fact that we did get the full fire report in my last board meeting there. And it's phenomenal. They've got some
Repairs done.
sprinkler heads that they have to replace because they went off. They're a one-use item. And we had literally probably a hole about this big melted in the bird net. And then we had a few windows that melted, but that's our biggest cost, is we had a defective window issue. The skylights.
That's
So-
gonna be a big cost to figure that out. with the
And that
contractor
will,
being
but that, we only had one damage by the fire.
Yeah,
But
but
it showed a defect, and that's what we're gonna have to deal, but that's not a fire problem. It was just given to us. We learned about it because of the fire. Personnel, I wanted to let you guys know that myself, Jody, Lori, and Charlene will be having a meeting on the 25th here, where we are going to be going through all things finance. Every single type of transaction that we go through, what is our procedures, policies, checks and balances, every single thing. We're gonna be writing SOPs on every single thing. And so Jody, I know, is really excited for an all-day meeting. But that is gonna be a fabulous one, from a personnel standpoint. We will then report all of that to you guys so that you guys can see that work. And understand that, and we'll get you a policies and procedures document as a deliverable for that meeting.
As you're doing that, I would like to, and I brought it up before, I'd like to see, if it's possible, I'd like to see more clarity, and I would be willing to entertain more help for the staff in here to give us that clarity. If that would help, so that we can list, when I talked about credit card expenses and things like that, I get that our staff is really, really full, especially with the changes that you've made. And if it's time to bring on another part-time person, whatever it is, I'd like to see, Jody's been great.
Because at any time you can come in and.
I know I can, but I'd like to, with my current job, I'm not here a lot.
So we
I haven't been.
scan all those in with the receipts, so that would just be a request to Lori.
Okay, and if that's what we do, just so we can look at, I know you're planning to get us to, our individual, where we're all digging in a little bit deeper in certain areas. But I would be willing to, to take some of the load off if possible, because I hate making requests to you guys because I know you're busy. I know I still do, but.
Your job is to make those requests.
I know
and
that.
their job is to respond. So it was kind of like we had an email with our attorney today, right? And, Jody was being kind and apologized that he had to, look at something else. And his response was the same I'll give to you. This is my job. You don't need to apologize.
I get it, but I also don't want to overwhelm unnecessarily.
If you do,
We'll
I will
say,
let you know.
yeah.
And that's what I'm saying is I for one would be willing to entertain additional help, because I know that when I come in here, they're busy, and I know I take up a lot of time, and I'm guessing everybody does the same thing, and
No, it's just you.
it's just me.
It's just you. So, no, noted.
So that's, I do, you know, as you guys are talking and as you're digging into SOPs and stuff like that, if it becomes overwhelming, as a council member would be willing to entertain more help in the city if needed. That's what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah.
If it's needed.
And I think right now, actually, our workload balance is pretty darn good. And as we get Charlene more integrated, we're gonna pull a little bit more off of, for instance, Lori, and put it on Charlene. So we'll be able to figure all that out. So I'm currently in the process of working on everybody's loads and making sure they're leveled
Yeah,
as much.
and
What about
that's
yours?
kind of what I'm saying is.
I don't do that.
I'm willing to look at whatever needs to be done to make sure the city runs as well as we can.
Of course, yep. And as we get to those needs, if I know your guys' skill sets, I'll pull on those for sure. Thank you. As for legal, no update there. So Councilmember Hutchings, water.
So, we did not meet with Mount Nebo, and they'd actually canceled SUMVA, but they decided there was things that we actually had to get through, so they put a virtual meeting together. And just for everybody's thought, they voted on our contributions to SUMVA. Basically, if I remember right, I was gonna bring it, but I just didn't have time to go home. I believe we're about 1.25%. And we've stayed there. It's exactly the same that it was last year. I checked that. But they're looking, and we've talked about it before, but now it's getting a little bit more serious, at dissolving SUMVA. And possibly rolling the stuff that SUMVA does into Mount Nebo and Central. There are a few things that they have to look at. So they're going to be relying on the technical committee, which Ted is on that technical committee. So they're going to be pulling that in our next meeting and officially setting that up to have the technical committee start working on, can we still cover everything in SUMBA through Mount Nebo? And the outlier is Springville. Springville's not in Mount Nebo. And then there are some, selling of water is one of the reasons we've got SUMVA, is selling those water shares to each other, basically trading, not making money on them. Nobody's making money on them, but being able to do that. And we needed a legal way to do that. And Central is happy to help work with us on that, is one of the things that we talked about. Also, I've given Charlene's information to them. They're now getting through the year-end stuff, and they're looking to take that load off of Santaquin, who helped us out. So I've given her information, and Spanish Fork's given some information as well. We're looking for a new person to take over finance, because our current one is retired, and we have to get something new. So I told them, and they were interested with Charlene. Charlene's interested. I've spoken with her about it. So those are my updates. Planning Commission, we've got a meeting coming up. I think I missed our last meeting, but I don't have anything beyond what Wayne has reported.
Home Builders Associations. Okay, so I'm going to these every couple of weeks. What does the council, what does the public care to hear? Like, I mean,
Any shifts or changes or concerns that they're having for relationships with cities, anything like that is kind of my thought on.
Trends that would affect us.
gotcha. Yeah, housing shortages, trying to get more state versus city control. That's kind of what the push is for constantly.
So these two organizations are pushing, they're one of the big ones pushing for the state to
Do zoning.
take everything away from us.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And
They're-
are you
they're
able
kind of
to
these-
sit there and push against them? And
Yeah,
you're on
it
both sides of
doesn't
that coin.
function fully that way, but it's more committee meetings. I serve on the government affairs side, which is totally appropriate. So Salem actually has representation there, Provo, Vineyard. So yeah, there are a lot of cities that are there saying, hey, this is what we can do. what I feel there's more an era of during those is collaboration and, hey, this is why we do what we do, this is what our threats are. And so we kind of come to the point during those meetings of, hey, this isn't a problem we need to worry about putting our time into.
Yeah, if you ever see or hear anything there, you're like, that's a really good idea and it's different than what we're doing, let us know. And that can be, you know, on the staff side, or that can be in this meeting, whichever works.
It's kind of similar to what Carrie does with legislature. She keeps an eye on things and whispers ideas in people's ears and tries to get things started to protect small communities.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So I'll report accordingly, but nothing meaningful. I mean, I think the biggest topics of all continue to be housing shortages and affordability. And so there's just a lot of pushes from every angle to get more housing and more affordable housing.
Are they pushing then for higher density? You say affordable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely one of the pieces, because if you look at development, land is by far the largest percent cost of construction. So, of a new home. And land sellers are getting what they want out of it, and they can still keep doing it. But I think that, you know, there are a couple of cities where permit fees, impact fees, those are all being evaluated constantly by the state, which is good, because there are some cities.
We have to go through that. And that's when a lot of times builders will say, well, this city has such high impact fees, but by law, we have to go through that process, and we can't charge more than we need. And so although it's different for each city, it does go through the process. One of the things that I think is interesting is that they say they want that there's a housing shortage and they want more affordable housing, but they're not building that. That's not what they're building, no matter what the lot size is. A study just came out. Utah has the second largest homes in the nation. Wyoming's first, and we're second. And so is there really a demand for that? Or is it just that, oh, we want the high density, or we want these large homes? And there's no middle ground. That missing middle is what we talk about a lot at the league meetings. And if our developers willing to look at that missing middle?
Yeah, developers absolutely are. In fact, as a developer, I prefer the more affordable. I prefer smaller, more volume, because it's the Walmart philosophy. I want to build more, less cost rather than huge. Now, there are the customs that want to do the big, huge stuff, but most of the production builders, the D.R. Hortons, the Lennars, the David Weekleys, those are all looking at the same format. If they can get density, they will take that all day long, and that density is what provides them the affordability. Because again, if I buy an acre for $500,000 and I can only put 2 houses on that, then it's a very different cost analysis than if I can put 6 to 8 on that same acre, right? And so I can't absorb that same 500,000 across 6 to 8. I'm now absorbing that across 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So there's 2 sides of it, and I understand that a lot of that comes from, hey, we want to protect our density, we want to protect our open space. It's how do we do that strategically? And we're going to be having a lot of those discussions as more and more eyeballs hit this flatlands down at the base, where we're going to have to be ready to say, no, this isn't functional for our city.
And that's one thing that I hear from legislators. Oh, you're from Woodland Hills. You're not even trying to help with this problem because your zoning remains large lots. And that's one of the things that then the developers will keep pushing for statewide zoning, so that we would have no control over what our lot sizes are.
Guess we better get them all built first, and then there's nothing we can do.
Out of room.
Yeah, out of land.
No land.
Well, even if they did that, if somebody has an acre and they've built on one side of their acre, then they would be able to subdivide and build on the other half with this new law, if it came to be. So
A lot more subdivisions.
everybody in the middle.
Yeah. And so it's a balance, but it's a constant conversation. And so again, we just want to be prepared. Because if we know what we're up against, we'll be able to prepare what's best for the city. If we're not, we're going to get blindsided by somebody who sneaks in and tells us what to do.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Lund.
I haven't met with the finance committee or PTR, so I don't have anything there. Just events. We got Woodland Hills Days coming up. It's always something. I think we're doing pretty good. There's a lot of us, so it's really nice. Dan and I are working on that together, and then we have 4 committee chair people that are splitting it, and then they all have their people that are helping with everything, so I think it's good.
It's nice to see that there's more people involved.
Yeah, and Tim and Hillary, you know, Hillary's trying to level a few things up and make it nicer, and she's kind of taking it by the horns, so to speak, and I like that, and so, yeah, it's good. We had an idea presented, and I texted it around, and I'm gonna bring it up here, because I want Brian to have the
Kill me. I
reason.
haven't told anybody yet. I was asking if.
Well, there was an idea, and the problem with the idea was in the drought year, people are worried about the water usage and how that would appear. So there were some alternative ideas presented.
Okay.
That we could talk about, but, yeah. The thought was maybe a rubber ducky derby of some description, which would be so fun.
Salem does something like that.
Yeah, but Salem's got,
The pond.
I get all of it.
I saw something.
It was so freaking.
I saw something that I thought was a good,
Cool.
something we could do,
I don't know.
but if people are
would
against
there be-
it, then
They're not against it, they're just worried about how it would look during a high drought, water shortage year. There was,
it's not a massive amount of water. I mean, we're
I know.
talking a few hundred gallons.
I know. Somebody suggested maybe like a bouncy ball one though, like with bouncy balls
That works.
instead.
I mean, anything works. I just saw it and was like, hey, I think we could actually do that. Everybody does those around here. So.
Not to
Fire hose, and you just dump water out its back of the heavy.
You set them all up and then you dump the
Dry,
water.
and then you set it out and see.
Have a water, it would be so fun. I think it would be really fun. And the thought, it was my thought that maybe that could be like a fundraiser or something for the fire department. But maybe not this year.
Okay.
But I think it could be a good idea for next year if we have a little more water. And I don't really have any concerns there. We do need to get some more advertising going. I think we're all feeling a little stretched, but we're still getting it all done. So,
Yeah,
Numbers come
all
to
advertisements going forward are gonna be specific to specific elements of it. So we'll have something specific for car shows, something specific for, rather than just generic over and over and over. We do wanna draw focus towards specific things that we do up there that might draw, maybe somebody will come up specifically for the marketplace, like, you know, the craft shop stuff. Some might come up specifically for the car show, just something to hopefully draw just enough interest from somebody to come up and then experience everything else. So I think that would be ideal. And we don't want to overburden the city pages, but it's our big event. So you're gonna probably, as we roll up to it, it'll get more and more.
Let's hit it hard.
Yeah, the one thing that I think we should probably bring up at some point, we've been a small community, still are a very small community, and we've always offered the hot dogs for free. We're starting to see in some of our events, more and more, people are bringing up their families and their grandkids, and you know, the family of 7 that used to come, or the family of 6 that used to come is now larger. Hillary specifically is trying to get, more marketplace people to bring up and hopefully draw additional non-Woodland Hills residents to the Woodland Hills event. At some point, I think we're gonna have to look at whether we're gonna continue to offer free dinner.
we started charging last year.
Right, but I'm not sure how we're executing that.
It was by,
Donation.
It was on your
it was
honor.
on the system.
Okay.
I had my sister and I paid for her.
What are we charging, $5?
$5 a meal.
All right.
And I thought it worked.
Working out okay?
I thought it worked good. We didn't raise a ton, but we raised, I want to say $300 or $400.
It was just Venmo, right? Or what was
It
it?
was Venmo, and I had
Yeah.
a sign, and we could make a better sign so
Yeah.
that it's a little more prominent, because it was just in one of those paper.
Right.
Yeah, we
And I
can
was thinking also put it, because the line gets really long, maybe put it at
just
the
put it up
back.
there.
So people, when they first get in line, they can just scan it right then instead of waiting till.
Or have
at
it
the
2 or 3
beginning.
times.
Yeah,
So
instead
that
of
they
just
get a
waiting at
chance
the
to see
end.
it.
Yeah, so anyway, I was just thinking about that. I mean, I don't really care about it being a money raiser. I just wanna make sure that as we start getting more
Covers.
and more demand, that,
Yep.
that we're not.
It's not a
feeding-
burden.
Yeah, well, we're not just feeding a bunch of randos who come up for free dinner and don't really wanna participate in the city. They're just looking for a free dinner.
Especially J-Dogs.
Yeah, exactly.
J-Dogs, right?
But, you know, and so anyway, just food for thought, of how to execute something like that a little bit. So,
I have one other thing, just, where if we're gonna do the pavers and maybe want people to sign up and have a booth at Woodland Hills Days, maybe we could have more at the booth, like maybe it could be, I was thinking maybe kind of a city booth, where you could have that, but maybe have some other things, like maybe just some information about what's going on in the community, because people always say they don't know what's going on. And maybe the mayor could be at or around the booth to answer questions, if people have questions.
a mayor dunk tank, ask a question, throw a ball.
I'm just saying,
That'd be a good idea.
maybe just to have,
Still 100 degrees, I'm.
maybe just to give people the opportunity to find out, you
Who's
know,
the
we
mayor?
have all these things, we have a newsletter and we have the messages that go out and we have all the things, and still people say they don't know what's going on.
Yeah, have a QR code that goes to the city
Newsletter.
webpage and the community webpage.
Just some kind of like little informational booth, but then also have the pavers
Some link
for
to it.
I just thought maybe a city booth would be a good idea.
It's not a bad idea.
So,
We've got some
I love the idea
pop-ups
of
that
getting
we can
people over
use.
there by having the dunk tank for the mayor would be
I
an
kinda
excellent way to
like
get
it.
people over there. And you had,
We're just gonna have one person in there.
you have to
Yeah.
ask a question.
You have to ask a question and then you get to have a throw.
So-
No, 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 no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
no, 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 no,
I'll
no.
be busy cooking J-Dogs.
Um,
Standing behind him, watching him doing it. Hey, are you guys doing good? I do have one thing to bring up, that I don't know if just you and I, but, it's is it the United Ways, like the week of service, day of service this
Yeah.
week?
On the September 10th,
On the 10th, okay, so I think it's like the 8th or
Thursday.
10th or
It's the
whatever.
Thursday.
Yeah, it's always the day
So-
before.
So, I did have a youth group ask if the city needed help to prepare the park for Woodland Hills Days as part of that service.
Absolutely.
Trimming and weeding and whatever else for the city.
I know
I just
your
didn't know.
ward's planning on doing something. I know our ward is trying to figure out something,
Yeah.
so let's try and get that coordinated, so if you could, send all of those, cause Ted has nothing to do.
Yes.
Send those to Ted and he can coordinate them.
The day of service.
Day of service, we just have a lot of youth in the area needing something for service, and I thought they might be able to help at the park, weeding,
yeah,
trimming.
I've had to bridge out as well.
I feel like we have somebody up there doing that every year.
I had a call from one more already,
Yeah,
asking about some ideas at the park.
Yep.
I gave him a bunch of ideas and then referred him to Janet and, Sherry.
Okay.
To maybe talk to Park Trails and Rec Committee about it.
Maybe even
So maybe
two.
we try and coordinate maybe a multi.
I think they're all looking for it, so we might as well just get,
I think we have.
let's get 80 kids up there and they'll make quick.
Is that something I think we had Parks and Rec do that before, kind of help coordinate that. Was that?
I think there's lots of I think there's lots of stuff we could do.
Yeah.
I helped coordinate
What
it.
about
Was it
at the
just you?
beginning of the city too, like at the mailboxes in that area, because we're not in
Delegate,
construction.
Janet.
But that might be a good place to clean up for when
Can't
people are
delegate
first
when they're
coming
never
to
in
the city.
town.
Two
And then
areas.
Mayor, just real quickly, for Woodland Hills Days, are we gonna be able to have the flags available? All the flags that we've put up on the
Of
wall?
course.
All right, I've got something working with the flag ceremony that I would like to maybe.
That'd be great.
It also, help me think, but it is the 25th anniversary of September 11th.
Yeah.
It might be.
We have America
is.
250, we have the 25th anniversary of 9/11. We have your birthday, so we could have a lot of celebrations going on at the
Yeah.
same time.
I got a birthday this year too.
Yeah, exactly.
I just had one.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
I'm just saying, so we
Yeah,
should
we
make it special.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
a
yeah.
moment of
So-
silence or something.
Yeah, well, the flag ceremony actually does have something to do with September 11th, even though it'll be on the 12th, but we've got something lined up. Hopefully it turns out, we're waiting on 2 musicians to commit, but it could be kind of special.
Maybe we could do a moment of silence on the 11th or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Comment?
Yes.
Talk about a city booth. How about playing the video in there for people to watch? And we can count the years that, we've been in existence and just make a little
Have it on a loop.
comment about a celebration there and play that video for those who may not have seen it
If
yet.
the link's still available.
And show the link.
Should. Yeah, because it's on the city
We can just
YouTube.
get a Starlink up there to stream it if we need to first from YouTube. I know.
I know someone has a Starlink.
I got one.
Does it go up there? Okay. That's cool. One other thing too, that, you mentioned the time of the city, one of the staff shirt designs I have is the year that the city was incorporated, and it's kind of got like this cool little design on it, so. Anyway,
One thing at Salem Days, all the council and the mayor had matching shirts,
yes.
so they were easily identifiable. I think that
That'd be
was
fun.
extremely helpful for just,
Should that be different than the staff shirts of,
I think so.
okay, because I was gonna have the staff in like some.
Those are for Toby.
color,
Maybe different.
like a red for staff and then maybe for council members.
Have a
Theirs were like the freaking American flag.
Yeah.
Like they were bright.
Yeah.
T-shirt?
I was thinking like mesh t-shirts.
No, they were kind of like
Like that.
like this.
Yeah, I think
More of
something
a
like
cut
that.
like, I think Steve's with the,
Golf shirt.
the double
Yeah,
cuff
But
on
I
there,
think that would be nice because like
I
at the
think that'd be
America
nice.
250, there were people that I didn't know like, and I was just talking to them and then they said, well, what's your name? And I told them and they were like, oh, because they didn't know I was a city council person. I'm just saying, it was a little bit
the
like
other
that,
thing
like,
too that
oh.
we had quite a few years ago is we had name badges made that weren't just write your name on a thing, but actually name badges we could wear whenever we were doing public events or going to some of our board meetings or stuff. They were magnetic.
Pin these to our
Well,
back.
they were magnetic. And so you could just put them on whatever shirt you were wearing because of the magnet.
Yeah,
It
you
wasn't
used to have
pin
to
on.
do that.
And they were really nice badges. And they said council person and it had our logo on it. And so we could wear it so people could see our name right when they were talking to us and recognize who we were. So it might be beneficial to get the matching shirt and a new name badge.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
But I do like the magnetic ones because when we're wearing other clothes, you don't always want to put a pin through it.
I agree. Perfect. Okay, anything else, Janet?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, Councilmember Malkovich.
My turn. We had our South Valley Animal Shelter meeting today. Lots went on. I did send a flyer to Janet and Jody about putting something in the newsletter. They're having a big event on September 24th. It always is, a lot of people come, can adopt pets, etc. The other things that we were talked about was we approved an agreement with Utah County for legal services. There's been an increase in legal services. And so we've done that and that was good. Also Spring Lake, as you know, just incorporated and has a new mayor and council and they've asked to join. So they're going to be joining soon. And because of that, then we're going to update the existing interlocal agreements with all the participating partners. Probably won't change much, but since now we have some legal counsel, they can look that over, make sure everything's in compliance with state law, etc. The other thing is, I gotta look through my notes here. We had a 95% save rate for dogs and 87% save rate for cats for the month of July. Those that are not saved are mostly those who have been injured or who are really sick. If an animal comes in that is aggressive and is in there because they've been biting people, they can't adopt them out. And so there are some other issues. We're also working on, there's a big issue that's happening right now, and it's kind of like the equivalent to human trafficking, but with animals from other states that are coming through. And Department of Agriculture is supposed to be stopping them at the border And they're supposed to be showing the paperwork that they have their shots and they have everything and it's good and they can come to our state. The problem is that we don't know where they go and a lot of them don't stop. And so there was a big influx of animals that came from Texas after a disaster down there. And it was found that they had screwworm and heartworm, which are both transferable to humans and to other animals. And so the vets have seen an increase in having to euthanize some pets. We haven't gotten any stats on if it's been transferred to people yet. Of course, we have medical things that can help us get through them. And the medical community might not even know that it might be because of this. There hasn't been a correlation yet, but there's no accountability right now. And a lot of times the catch and release, they spay and neuter them, but they don't treat their disease. And so they're letting them go into the communities. And so some of our communities around us are noticing an increase in this issue. So we're supposed to notice if any of our residents call and say, my dog or my cat's throwing up blood or something like that, so that the shelter is aware of where this might have been spread to. And then working with Department of Agriculture to have some accountability there, because it can affect humans and livestock. So some of the livestock out on the west side has been affected by this. So those are the things that we talked about. There was something done by Alex Cabrero, a news report about this recently. And so it's kind of been more in the news lately, but some people just haven't noticed. But the animal shelter, we're doing some good things. We're going to also, one thing I forgot, they updated their website and they also have a new license website. So if you have licensed your animal like you're supposed to and your animal is lost, in addition to our Woodland Hills page where you can put your picture and say, has anybody seen my dog or my cat? You can go on there and they'll put pictures of animals that have been brought in case it's yours. You can just go on that website and see the picture and say, get down there. It's there. And so, because not everybody who licenses their cat or dog gets it chipped. If it's chipped, they can call you. If it's not, then you just have to look. So that was, I thought, was a good thing. So that's all we have.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Roden, anything?
Focus, update
Perfect.
through there.
Okay, any items for an upcoming city council meeting?
No, the only thing that I wanted to bring up is just talking to Sherry briefly. Sounds like I'm in charge of putting together a meeting to talk about the fundraiser. So I might need some help to do it an official way if it's an official meeting, but August 31st at 6:30, and I'll probably hold that at the pavilion.
Which day?
August 31st. I think it's.
Someone else spoke for that day.
Oh, that's fine.
About an hour and a half ago.
Okay,
Who are they? Cause he's gonna have words.
yeah.
It's me.
It's looking across the table, or-
It's Woodland Hills Days Committee.
Oh, it is? Okay.
We can fight you for it.
Yeah.
No, we have this room. I reserved this room.
Can you have a different room?
Well, if you're doing PTR, that really needs to be, and that sounds like who you're meeting with.
She doesn't seem to want to do it formally. So.
She has to.
Yeah.
She doesn't ever want to, but she needs to.
Yeah, they need to be a formal meeting.
Could you connect
mentioned
it? Since it's the same people, could you ask Sherry to?
PTR meeting?
No, it's not a
No.
PTR. It's a Woodland Hills Day meeting. I thought you said it was a PTR meeting.
Never get too show.
When is the next PTR meeting? Can I just be added to the agenda on
It's
that day?
supposed to be next week.
I'll be gone next week.
I haven't seen an agenda or heard anything though.
It's supposed to be the 18th. So then the next one after that would be September 15th.
After Woodland Hills Day, which doesn't help. You have to have it in August.
Or maybe we could do the 18th. Would that work?
I think sooner is better,
Agree.
so you have time to prepare.
So
Because I just reserved you a booth.
You did, good, thank you.
So if you could get a agenda
Sure.
to us, no later than noon on Monday.
So August 18th at 6:30 PM
Yes.
and here.
I was gonna do it at the pavilion, but we could do it here if that's better.
Well, we do it here typically because we can record it, and
Oh, I
we're
see.
required to record committee meetings.
Got you. Okay. So. Perfect. Okay, thank you. 6:30 work, is that the typical time?
If you want at 6:30, it's otherwise on the calendar for 7, but 6:30 is fine.
Wonderful. Then we will take a quick break here. It is currently 8:12. How about a quick break? Let's be back here at 8:15. Toby's. Okay, I'd like to call this city council meeting to order. We're going to have an invocation by Councilmember Malkovich and then a pledge of allegiance from the present Councilmember Hutchings.
Yeah.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we're grateful for this opportunity we have to meet as a city council to discuss the needs of our city. We're grateful for our citizens and the sense of community that we have in looking out for each other, for being mindful of each other, for the patients, and for the willingness to come together in times of need and in times of celebration. We're grateful for our community, for our mountain, and for the beauty that Thou has provided for us. Please continue to bless us with safety in this fire season. We also pray for the communities that have been impacted by the fires this year and potential flooding, that they will see some relief soon with the impending cooler temperatures. Please bless us this night that we can discuss and deliberate the needs of our city, that we can be mindful of those needs and of the impact they have. Help us to make the decision that's best for everyone, and that we can continue to have a quality of life that we enjoy here in Woodland Hills. Again, we're grateful for Thy blessings upon our city, and the safety and the mindfulness of our citizens in helping us to protect it during this fire season. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Please rise and join with me in saying our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you both. Okay, we'd like to open the public comment section of our meeting. Public comments are limited to 2 minutes per person, individual unless otherwise directed by the mayor. Comments submitted by email must be received by 3 p.m. on the day of the meeting. To be included in the official record, emailed comments will not be read aloud during the meeting, but will be distributed to the city council and included in the meeting's record. So it looks like we've got a couple. Diana, anything today? Sean, Doral?
Doral already made his comment.
Yeah, Doral's been blocked.
I'll second that, Doral.
Okay, with no comment, we will close the public comment section of this meeting, and we will move to the consent agenda. So an approval for the July 14th, 2026 City Council meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Lunt and a second by Councilmember Malkovich. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. We're going to now move on to the business items. Approval of the contract to repair of the exterior of the city center. It seems like you guys are operating under last week's approval, or last council meeting's approval.
I think that's sufficient. I'm happy to make another motion if you would like to. So I'd like to make a motion that, that we go back with a standard scope of work for each of the contractors and give the approval for, I don't remember what we had approved last time.
Just that which is budgeted.
That, what we budgeted. And give that authorization to the mayor, with city staff's approval of updated, up to that money of updated quotes.
But not, up to so changing the dollar amount, because it seemed like they all came in over the dollar, amount, didn't they?
No, I got the first one to help me establish the budget.
Okay,
So that's where that number came from and why that
Okay.
first quote came in, so.
And so that's still where we stand on that quote, but as
Mhm.
long as we're within that budget amount, that the mayor can make that, final decision with.
Okay. Motion from Councilmember Hutchings,
I'll second.
Councilmember Roden with a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, consideration of notice of intent to sell a parcel of land.
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Okay, so I have a motion from Councilmember Malkovich and a second from Councilmember Johns, all in favor? Any opposed? That motion passes. Approval of the June 2026 fiscal or financials and check disbursements.
I'll make a motion.
So I have a motion from Councilmember Johns,
I'll second it.
and I have a second from Councilmember Lunt. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Approval of the July 2026 financials and check disbursements.
I'll make a motion.
Councilmember Roden with the motion.
I'll second.
Councilmember Hutchings with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. A resolution 2026-45, dissolving the Community Development Committee.
My motion.
Councilmember Malkovich with the motion.
I'll second it.
Councilmember Lunt with the second.
Real
All-
quick, before we
Yeah.
vote on that, we can have a little discussion. Can we also, and I don't know if this is possible, can we also give an official thank you to each one of the members of that committee?
I have actually written thank you notes to each one of them.
But I want to make sure it's from the council and official, that they're getting that as part of this resolution to dissolve.
Yes, we can do that.
Thank you. Is that okay? Can we follow the same motion, you guys?
Yeah, add that to the motion.
Okay. Is that okay with you, Councilmember Lunt? As the
Great.
second?
Yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes. I do have some things that we need to discuss, if you guys are willing to go into a closed session pursuant to Utah Code 52-4-205 1, and that is concerning potential legal.
I'll make a motion.
So I have a motion from Councilmember Hutchings.
Second.
I have a second from Councilmember Johns. Councilmember Malkovich?
Yes.
Councilmember Johns?
Yes.
Councilmember Hutchings?
Yes.
Councilmember Roden?
Yes.
Councilmember Lunt?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. We are going to be heading into closed session. So Diana, thank you so much for joining us. You're welcome to hang out in the hall and come back. Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second it.
We are adjourned. Thank you all.
I will get through these. That's cute. This you guys too?
That was all the boys.
It was the boys? Your boys were a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.